Hello. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, so it works. The issue is that I guess I can make my camera aim down by moving the camera and clamping it. I'll just show you my setup here. So here's my computer, and here's my Wacom desktop going off to infinity. And this I can make flat, horizontal. And if I have the camera maybe attached here somehow, and then how do I make this work? Okay, now what I've done is I've moved the screen that I'm live over there above me. So this is essentially not usable. Now, let's see if it works. Move a light. Am I backwards? Are you seeing me backwards? A-R-I-L-Y-N. Am I backwards, or I see it backwards? Looks good to you? Okay, it's backwards to me. You know, so I'm not writing backwards. A, B, C, D. I see it backwards. Okay, that's how it's supposed to work. Now, if I can only remember how I did this, it'll be fine. Now, Marilyn, Darling, Ms. Darling. Okay, let me put this back where it was. My house is a death trap. Damn it. My house is a death trap. Okay, this is not my fountain pen. This is my, there, fountain pen is back where it belongs. So this is an option where you and me live and other people could be watching me, and you guys can be chatting amongst yourselves and perhaps saying things that both of you like. Now, how can I tell how many people are in how many people are watching me? Is there a way for me to tell that? Can you still see me? under the viewer spot. Oh, 5. There's 5. 5 are watching. Well, hi, Bob. So this is my cunning plan, and maybe I can do this with Zoom later when I can figure out how that works, where we get to have a little clusterfuck of fountain pen chatter. I think that would be fun. And because there's so many of you that are telling me the same kinds of things, that I'm very lucky to hear it from each of you individually, but I think it's really kind of fun to where two people are experiencing the same joy or problem or whatever it is about calligraphy or fountain pens, and you share your stories to one another. When I introduce real people at dinner or wherever I might be, I tend to shut up and just watch what people or listen to what people are saying. Oh, okay. Larry's fountain pen friends. Okay. Send me a link to that somehow in my mail or something. And the reason I'm doing this is to read what you're writing way up there. I have to look through the bottom of my glasses. I guess I could move. It's a good thing I'm not driving a bus. There'd be people dead all over the place. There, see, now I moved the screen back down to the one that's down here rather than up there, so I don't have to my neck doesn't get broken. Let's see. So so there's Marilyn Darling, Bob Anderson, and you're the same Bob Anderson that comments on my YouTube things, I presume. And we have another man. Oh, Jack from Brussels. See, this is what is going to make my head explode, because too many people have too many names. I'm just going to explode. Here, let me see if I can. Let me see just a second if I can maybe figure this out here. Let me just get my scissors. Okay, now I've taken this out. If I'm able to reset this so I can understand all of this, all these names people have, I'd be happy. So I'm going to try to do a good job of remembering who everyone is. But if I forget, you only have one name. Okay. I will remember that, Marilyn. And I've got a couple people that I need to remember 2 names of. And so good. So maybe what can happen until I figure out how Zoom works, and again, some of you people may not want to do a Zoom thing. You're private and you don't want to be Zoomable, but you are happy with YouTube. So if if the conversation looks like it's interesting between you guys, I can sometimes just watch what you have to say and other times not. So, and I can't do this on my phone, right? I guess, see here, I can actually see what you're typing. If it was on my phone, I'd be out of luck. Here I can see the last 20 comments without scrolling anywhere. So I guess it's helpful. So we have Bob and Marilyn and Jack. Do we have anyone else in the room? Oh, okay. They won't let me, those Apple people, bad Apple people. I do have a laptop which I could have next to my pen area. One of the things I'm trying to do above the chat, the three dots, click the three dots and select participants. What does that do? Oh, that's how I find out who's in the room. Okay, there's only 3 people according to this. There's only, it says only 3 under the 3 dots, and it says 5 under people. But I don't know if that's 5 people that were watching me, or that's a total, running total, or, oh, who's participating in chat. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm glad that I have a teacher. One of the things I'm really trying to do is learn how to not mix up my house more than it already is. And this area here is where I do my real work that involves the computer or printers. On my table over there, I do calligraphy and drawing. And in my pen area, I will do my pen stuff. I used to do my pen stuff where my drawing area is, and it was a nightmare. So I'm just trying to, since the beginning of YouTube. So anyway, I'm just trying to figure out whether I really want to have this be infiltrated by pen stuff. So I might decide it makes sense for me to bring the computer laptop over to my other spot, but I don't think there's room for that. So it might just have to be here. And what I'd probably do is bring specifically 1 or 2 pens to play with and talk about a particular kind of thing, whatever it is, with you guys. Well, if I were to keel over tomorrow, there would be no, we'd have to hire the people that decoded the German Enigma device to come here to try to figure it out, because it's not normally possible. But one of the things that I am doing now because of this COVID thing is my normal business is essentially gone. So I don't have to have a scanner and a printer and a printer and another printer all churning out stuff that I have to create for people. So I haven't turned on this computer in days. This is my constant companion. Well, not a constant companion, but this is, that's keeps me in line. This oil painting I found somewhere. I wanted to have that hanging in my bathroom to make sure I didn't pee on the floor. I aimed better, but that made me want to never pee in the first place. Well, what else can I show you in this corner? I have a puppet that I found in my building. My neighbors, things that they don't want, they put in this room that all of us eagerly go in the morning and find out, well, who's left things that they don't want. And there's books and clothes and shoes and pots and pans and stuff. And there was this puppet with articulated hands, the mouth works, and the strings were all tangled up, and I had to untangle the strings. I had to cut all the strings off to untangle them. And I tied the left leg to the thing and the right arm to the thing and did all of the parts. And there was this, for God's fuck's sake, there was a string left over. And I thought, what the hell does this do? That's what it did. I discovered, to my glee, a little wooden Woody. Okay, playtime is over. Let's talk serious. So I think, let me just try some shit. What have I done? Every once in a while I press a button by mistake and the screen goes dark. Okay, so I'm going to change this. Look, I made this entirely flat. It stays completely flat. So now I keep wanting to put the Y in place of the I. Marilyn, or is it Marylin? Anyway, so those damn crocodiles. Well, it must have had 6 strings, one for the mouth, the things, and there must have been one for the tail. So anyway, this again will have to work. But it does work. It works perfectly fine. So what I'll do is when I want to do this here with pens, I'll cover this with some sort of waterproof, ink-proof cloth so I don't spill ink into the little crevices. Move the screen that I'm looking at right now up here. Maybe I wouldn't have to do that. Actually, I really don't need to see. Let's just test this out because it's really comfortable for me to read this while looking down at the thing I'm drawing. So let's test this out. Let's cover my kingdom for this big piece of paper. I'm covering everything that I don't need, and I'm presuming that that you can see me. I don't have to see me, right? Well, the glare should be gone now, right? So this is working. So Jack Filze, I-L-Z-E. Unfortunately not. It's still glary. Where's it glary from? Oh, maybe. How's this? Testing. Okay. I could also, well, the camera is pretty far away, but I could move it closer, maybe somehow. So if I were to do this, how does this seem? I just have to make sure that it's never ending. I like what the delay does. Okay, so if I know that this white piece of paper is within the screen that you see, I'll be okay. I suppose I could, in order to see what I'm doing, I could watch it on my phone. Of course, then you get that nasty feedback stuff. Okay, good. Well, I'll try to remember this. The camera is sort of a foot and a half above me, and I'm able to see right over here what you're writing, what you're typing. So it works well. Now the question is, am I able to record this and upload this thing? I guess I can do that because I've seen other people do it. So if something is worth keeping and sharing with the world out there, as soon as I click, it does it automatically. So let's say I said something horribly, when I click video or when I click stream? If I were to stop this right now, would this entire thing be automatically uploaded? Ms. Darling? Oh, so if I said something that I shouldn't have said and I don't want anyone else to see it, I have to delete the video. It's live. It's alive. Well, I know it's live, but I didn't know it would be kept. It's like with Instagram, I'm live when I'm live, and then when I stop, it says, "Do you want to publish this to IGTV, and sometimes I say yes and sometimes I don't. My eyebrows have got to be trimmed before I get them caught in a car door or something. God, awful. Anyway, well, on this note, I think I can stop. Thank you, Marilyn, for helping me out. Thank you, guinea pigs, for watching me and participating in the chat. If I know that I'm going to do this again, well, I will do it again, but if I know I'm going to do it again, maybe I can figure out a time in a day and do it every week. Maybe no, my life is an open book. I don't need to. The only time I want to be private about doing something is if I'm recording a side by side with someone and I want them to make sure that they are happy before I upload it to my thing. But so I might decide maybe that what would be a good day to do this? Is Friday a good day to do this? Or do we need a Pier Gustafson live thing happening on Wednesdays just to spice, break up the week? I'll have to think about this. But as you guys get to know each other better, it's really what you guys say to each other that I think is kind of fun, rather than what I'm saying. I'll give it a good think. You mean I have to put this thing back? I have to put that back in? I don't, it's like toothpaste in the tube. Just not Tuesday or Saturday. Okay. Well, I might do it on maybe I'll just post it on my YouTube. I know people do that. Figure out how that works. Push a notification, and if you follow me, you'll see it, and wing it. Okay, well, good. Well, thank you again for helping me out, Marilyn specifically, and to all the rest of you indirectly. I'm glad that you were here to watch this virgin 64-year-old virgin. We'll meet again. Don't know where. I don't have the music and I don't have this tuned up, so we'll just have to say goodbye. Don't know when. Oh, random. When did I start collecting? I began collecting pens the week after National Handwriting Day in 1978. It was my senior year in college, and I heard a story about a woman who sold pens in Minneapolis. And I bought 3 pens from her, and 3 years later, I bought her store. No, 3 years later, she died. And 5 years later, or 6 years later, I bought her store, all of the stock that she had left. So, but I'd always collected stuff. Debts, I know how to do that. Now, as you can see, I have a million things. And but pens are the thing I have the most of, and the things that I know the most about. So I guess I'm a pen collector, and the rest of what I have is just a variation of hoarding. Well, do you have another question? Hagoromo Otsuki. Are you from Japan? Otsuki. Hagoromo Otsuzuki. Any other questions anyone has? Should I use my, oh, I was going to talk about price. Oh, the nibs will run between probably 50 and maybe for the Boinga Boinga one might be 100. I have to think about it though. I don't remember which ones you wanted. That Boinga Boinga one is pretty sweet. But anyway, I'll think about it. Continue to think. 3 and 6. Number 6 was the Boinga Boinga one. Ended up being the Boinga Boinga, I think. I'm Ben. It's just a pen name. I'm actually from Austria. One other question. What would be the one pen you would take on a lonely island? I like that. Desert island is what we say in English, but I like the lonely island better. That's a hard question, but it is a question that I probably can answer. I have a Waterman, sterling silver Waterman that has a slightly flexible but very fine nib in it, and I really like it. Something stiff to keep from spreading too much. Well, that's not the Boinga Boinga one is going to spread too much, I think, but writes like a dream. Should I get Ben from Austria? Should I get my pen of which I spoke to show you? I did a painting of it, actually. I wonder if I could show you that. For a pen show, I painted a number of, I painted like 50 paintings based on famous art. And I replaced the human subject with a pen. And the pen of which I speak, I did a painting of. And let's see if I can find the painting. Can I walk without falling over? Look, first time looking. So here's the painting of the pen. It's a knight in armor, and it's painted with acrylic paint on window shade. So that's the pen. It's the painting. I've got a green wall. Which green wall is that? The bronze and green one, the Brazilian green, or the... Okay, let me see if I can find the... Don't go away. Don't go away. What I like about this pen is it's kind of a... What's the word I want? It's kind of a... It's when something's not of the right time. Archaic, is that the word I want? Okay, I may be in a trauma here. I can't find my oh, there it is, wake up tablet. Let me move the screen so I can see what I'm doing. Over to there. Okay. So this is the pen. It's smooth sterling silver. And it's a 494, which is the numbering system on the back. 494. And when they were making this pen, they were making a more modern clip and a more modern lever. But this pen was made using sort of the older pattern, and it's smooth sterling, and what's really sweet about it, so sexy. Ooh, the section is sterling, and the nibs are sterling. So on my lonely island, I would have this pen. Would I keep this nib in it? Let me find. Here you can see all of my folders on my screen here. There's nothing bad. Well, there is, but I don't think you can tell by the... Be right back. Find my... Oops. You would have guessed this one. It's really a sweet pen. I like it because it's dented and dinged, and it was really used by whoever owned it. And it's just has beautiful little battle scars and no teeth marks, though, I don't think. It was sort of bounced around in the wherever pens bounce. Do I have a piece of paper I can write on in my house anywhere? pen from Austria. Yeah, this is a pretty nice nib. It's a little tight. You have to apply a lot of pressure to make it go, but it's are you getting in focus here? But it's really neat. It's also quite heavy, and yet it's not an oversized pen. It's just very solid. It seems exactly the right kind of pen for my desert island. Now, Bob thought I have a green wall, which most beautiful pen you've ever seen. What pen is that? Do you remember? Is it the green and bronze, or the really thin one? I have so many pens. Let's see here. I'll go away. I sold my entire collection. I don't know, $250,000 maybe. I think the one that popped up in a couple of videos is this one. Oh, I know where that one is at least. Come on, table, get flat. I think this is the pen. It's green and bronze, though it's sort of hard to see. Is that the one? I also have a wall that's very, very thin and very light, very narrow. So that's been in a few. This one has a big moppy wet nib. And the other one has a very, very fine nib to go with. It's very light thing. I can tell, I'm just imagining already I've got ink right here, there, and I've got pens here, and I've got the puppet with the penis over there, and soon it's all going to be covered in ink. So I may have to figure out if I really may need to bring a little tray that has all of my live on YouTube stuff in it and just leave it here. So I don't know, it's I can see a slippery slope. Marilyn, should I talk about your pen nibs since they're right here? Let's talk about your, always talk about your nibs. You just want to be talked about, you Marilyn, Ms. Marilyn. Okay. Here are the notes, the careful notes I took, and these are the pens. 6. And this 7th one, which I saw that I forgot to bring over here, you know, this one might be the best, and you didn't see this one. This is tighter than Boinga Boinga, and it's thin. So before I get attached to this nib, I'll just say that this is the one that's going to go toward you. Let me just get a piece of paper. I was using that Rhodia paper, and I just found it. It's smooth and everything, but there's something cheap about it that bothered me. So this is my paper from 1880 something. Really beautiful ledger paper. So let's see. Where's Pier? I'm right here. Right here. I'm pointing to me. Okay, so let's do this test again. I'll keep them in order. Number 1, I thought was scratchy. Yes, it's scratchy. And I was thinking it might be scratchy. I may have to reset it, but I think 1 is going to be out of the running just because I need to figure out why it's scratchy. I think one of the tines needs to be readjusted. So I'm going to leave that there. It's still number 1, but it's still scratchy. This one was number 2. This is tighter. Boy, this is sweet. But it's really tight. It's not as flexible though. It's tight, but it's a little scratchy because it's so sharp. I think you will find it not. thought I heard the iridium fly off of it, but there's a piece of crud that it ran over. Really interesting nib. Okay, next, 3. TTTTT. This is good for you. This is the one where if you have to write Tintin tabulation 1,000 times, this is the one that you'd use that for, because it really wants to go sideways. Normally, if I saw anyone do this, I would call the police and have them arrested for cruel and inhuman punishment. But when I saw you cross a T like that, this is what made me think of this one. But again, it's pretty tight. 3 T's, okay. Tintin tabulation. How many T's are in Tintin tabulation? At least 5. Tin, tab, tabulation. There's 4, I guess. Tintin tabulation. Okay, this one, number 4, smooth. It's tight, but this is going to fight you a little bit. It's very smooth. It doesn't have a real, no, just a minute. It's working fine here. Again, let's see, how does Ms. Marilyn write? Ms. Marilyn writes, every downstroke is shaded. This is smooth, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Number 5. This is boing-like. I can see that that's the only word I think that I wrote. Yeah, this is boing-like. Not as flexible. This is the Boing pen. A little bit more flexible. And the last one that I brought out is this one, which is very boingy, but tighter and finer. So I think this has to be one of them for you. I'm almost positive. It's so difficult to know what you're going to like. Number 7. Boingy, tight, fine. 6, boingy, boingy. Okay. So anyway, these are my notes, and these are the pens. And as long as I don't... It took me forever to find this one, because I put them all back in the drawer and they all got mixed up, and I had to go back and look at my YouTube video to, is it this one? Is it that one? I can't tell. Let's look at it again. Finally, I could tell by the patterning of the hard rubber. We have 10 people watching me now. Remember what your place thing. There's a friend of mine, Ted Clausen of the TED Talk TED, and he brought pens for me to repair, a pen to repair, and I needed a new sack, I think, or clip. Needed a slip-on clip as well. Anyway, I put it somewhere, and I said, I have no idea where I put it. And of course, if it lasts for a few minutes in my house, it could easily get moved in with other pens. Though normally I do keep pens that I get from people separate. But in this particular case, because we were doing a million things, we were making videos, we were working on a project of his that I didn't put things in the right spot. Anyway, I did finally find the video where we were making a video and I was looking at the pens he brought me to fix, and I saw me try out the pen, so at least I know which one it is. So hopefully it's not one of them that I'm selling you. Anyway, anyone else have a Stephen Shaman? I'm sorry. Good morning from Bangladesh. Could you please show us some of your prized, most favorite Schaefer pens? Well, a brand new pen I bought from my very store just the other day is this one. And this is a Triumph nibbed brown, whatever this pen is called. Triumph nib. And one of these I'm sending off to Brussels. Maybe, if that's the one he wants, of the brown ones. And this one, I like it because it has almost a stub nib. It's really stubborn, angry kind of a nib. This is the one that I use to write nasty notes with an angular. This really makes me want to say something mean. Celluloid. No, I was trying to think of the, yeah, I don't know what they call this plastic. What's radite or celluloid or cellulose? But it's it reminds me of tiger's eye. And I have one just like this that I think Brussels is going to get. But I also have two other brown ones that he might also prefer to this one, to the Triumph nib one. The pen and the story. Okay, well, you can get them both. Another very, I'll show you another favorite Schaefer that I have. I have a lot of Schaefers that have flexible nibs because I've been collecting these things for 30, 40 years. So here's some favorite Schaefers of mine, and there are no particular order, so I'm putting them in order. This one is a little Schaefer tuckaway, and it has the finest nib that I have on any pen. And my friend Ted Clausen, when he tried it out, it surprised and scared him. So it's just so fine. And he said, this pen is for doing delicate brain surgery on an infant. It's just slightly flexible, but it's like there's one atom of iridium on the point, and it's shared by both tines. It's really, really cool, and I love the inscription. Jean Jean Green, Jeangrene, Jean Green, for meritorious service to the Red Cross. Okay, where am I going to put that so I don't drop it? This one is weird because it's a flat top, but okay, I'm going to sound like a pen collector now. I apologize in advance. It's a flat top, but it has the later style clip that they didn't invent until after they stopped doing the flat tops. It also has a modern section, and it has, I don't know if this nib came on it, but it's the nib I have on it. It's this nice big bucked tooth stub nib, which normally I like putting on short stubby pens, but because this one is so green and so weird, it's just weird. It's a weird pen. And it's really beautiful, the green. You're not seeing the green well, you're seeing the green. There's more green than yellow. This one is another buck-toothed Schaefer stub nib. You like the widening part of the section. So that's a stub. Okay, the rest of these I think have flexible nibs. Here's the fatter brother of the pen that you want, Brussels. This one doesn't have a story. It has a really, really fine flexible nib in it though, and I really like it a lot. So this goes in my fine drawer. Maybe this is the same size as the other one. Oh, thank you. I'll try writing your name. So your name is Shaman, S-H-A-M-I-N. Shaman. I'll pretend that's your name. I don't know if it is or not. This is another Schaefer flexible lifetime nib. That's a Schaefer. Shaman. This is Schaefer's version of Boing Boing. Ms. Marilyn. This is a piston fill pen that I don't fix, but a friend of mine fixes them. So hopefully he can fix that for me. But these, almost all of the pens I'm showing you are at my desk, so I don't end up, I tend to just dip them and do what I need to do with them. This is another Schaefer lifetime pen with a flexible nib. And again, most people who that like Schaefers, when I say I have a flexible nib Schaefer, they say, no, you don't. That's impossible. And this is J.R. Townsend Jr. Here's the very worn cap that Rob and I were talking about. Brussels. So it's really, really worn down. And this one, I've put a nice flexible nib in too. There's many pens I have in my collection that are made up of more than one pen. I love pens that have engravings. I love flexible nib Schaefers. And if I find a flexible nib Schaefer And this has a regular black cap. I'll switch it with this one because of this engraving that I like. I don't think they belong together. This has some teeth marks up here. This does not have teeth marks down here. Now I could fix that or wiring really hard on them and then they would fit perfectly. Well, all of the Schaefer seniors, these 3 pens all are the same diameter. They're the senior size. So they may look fatter, but they're the same. Now I'm going to show you another Schaefer pen, 2 more Schaefer pens. They don't have Schaefer nibs in them. You don't understand that, huh? But don't worry. When I bought the pen company, I got a lot of really early hard rubber Schaefer stuff that some of them had never even been finished. They still don't have the drill holes where the lever would go. Anyway, these 2 Schaefer self-filling pens I fitted with my Frankenpen nibs. And these are really amazing nibs. They're among the best Frankenpens that I've got. They're so fine and so springy. I'm almost afraid to use them. Gently put it away, Pier. This one, I think this is the one that I use more often than the other. But again, it's a very beautiful, large-sized Victorian dip pen nib. I don't know who made these. E.F. Johnson, I think, on that one. And I don't know. Really, really neat. And so these are pretty big pens, but look at this thing. This is I don't remember who made this. H, it says H on there. And I had 2 of them. I still might have 2. I don't know. But it's a big fat pen made by an off-brand company, Pencraft Boston. And I put a really nice dip pen nib in here too. But it's just huge. This thing is humongatoid. So dip pen nibs are really special things. And I use them at the desk. I don't take them out with me to play. Oops. I keep them usually pretty safe on my desk, which is usually pretty safe. I'm just going to show you this last nib. I don't think this nib is gold because it's too shitty for that. But it feels like I'm writing with a piece of paper that's cut into the shape of a nib, because it just completely well, are you going to write or not? Did the iridium break off? It's so pliable, and it's not working. So I can't show you. It's really, really hard to control, because you just think get fat and it just completely gives in. It's like a rag doll. And it's really hard to control. It's like writing with a paintbrush made of cat down, something. It's really wet noodly, but really it's not as good as it should be. I have a drawer that says sloppy, and these are all sloppy nibs. Maybe this is the one I was thinking of, or it's like that one. This is gold, though, this one, and it's just impossible. But look at that gob of ink. This would be maybe someone who does Japanese and Chinese calligraphy would like this, because it's almost like a brush. The nib, I mean, these nibs do exist, and they were made back in 1880 and stuff like that, and sometimes people really like this kind of nib. So, but they're pretty hard to come by. I've only had maybe 3 or 4 that are like this in all of my years, because they're so fragile. I would think could be very easy to press down too hard and break them, even if you know what you're doing. I've broken pens, and I pretend to know what I'm doing, but they just don't say no. You don't have any feedback that you're pushing too hard. And normally you feel the resistance that the pen is giving you to stop. You hear it say, okay, that's enough. This one doesn't say a thing. It just blah. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. I had fun with this because I like getting the feedback that I'm getting, and it's fun that there's more than one person participating. That I do want to do this again, and the more I do it, the more you guys will know each other. Marilyn will know John, and John will know Shaman, and Shaman will know who else was in the room. Fritz. Is it Fritz? What was his name? And Brussels. He'll know Brussels, and Ben will know someone else. So I will like that because I'll enjoy reading what you're doing. The thing with Japanese, the brushwork calligraphy, it works really well with a brush because you sort of press down and you make a thin line and it gets thick, or you press, the brush seems to allow you to make the thick lines in the right place. The pen sort of does it the opposite way. I mean, when you make a stroke, a diagonal stroke on Japanese calligraphy, is the end of the stroke is the fat part, right? Or is there a different? I should be able to find this out. I've got my devices all around me. Hold on. An artist friend of mine that I've done a lot of YouTube drawing with just texted me, and I asked him to join us. I don't know if he will, but he's a very talented artist and really, really fun, very smart. And how come they can't make nibs today? I don't know why they can't, other than if they're selling them over the counter to the regular great unwashed billions of people that are out there, they can't be trusted with a delicate instrument like this. We've lost the ability to do it. We're too lazy and too gross. I wish they made white dress shirts with detachable collars that you would starch to the nth degree. But there was one guy that worked with my neighbor in the law firm, and he would send his detachable collars to Paris every month to get them laundered because no one in the United States knew how to do it anymore. Why they're not doing it now, there's a number of different reasons, but I think the main thing is there's too few people that want them. and they're too delicate to sell to just anyone. You know, race cars, high performance race cars are sold to the professionals because they know how to take care of them. If they sold a high performance race car to me, even if I didn't get in an accident, it would gum up immediately because I wouldn't drive it correctly. I don't know if he's going to join us. 10 people in the room. Marilyn, where did I put your pens? Oh, they're right there. I've got my notes. You have your notes. I can look back to see the notes here, I guess. I'm going to move the screen back so I can see it without my neck breaking. There, that's better. Whew. Now I can read what you're saying better. So Bartholomew Brecht, are you Ben? Are you the same guy as Ben, or is that someone else? No, that was someone else. The guy with the Japanese name, wherever he went. John Blackburn. Oh, you're the Canada guy. I have your pens all in a pile right now too. I've got to figure out which ones can work. I want Bartholomew, I want you to meet Jack because you both talk the same lingo. You both really, you know, I was hearing almost identical thoughts coming from both of you when I was Skyping with you guys. You're having your morning coffee. You live in Canada. You don't live anywhere where it's morning. Unless you get up late. You're having, well, you're in California. I get up, yeah, you know what time I got up today? 2:45 in the morning. No, you guys, Bartholomew and Jack are peas in a pod, we'll say. A lot of what you were saying resonated with me, but it would have made more sense to each of you. Because unlike most of the people in the room here, I'm not a writer. So I don't know the sorts of things that you find important. So that's the thing that's interesting. me. Maybe I will learn something. What the heck then? Marilyn says. Yeah, you guys, I mean, I don't know how you guys can do that without putting your information in public, but you can certainly chat with each other without me chaperoning you. But I mean, there was some overlap that was happening in the conversation, but I think Jack was a little bit more of a romantic. He liked the stories that I was making up about the other owners. Now, is that a Yammer? That's a YouTube Yammer group or a Zoom Yammer group? Facebook Yammer group. This is where I start going mental because, you know, did I talk to this person on Facebook or in Instagram, or was it an email or a phone message or a text message? And I spend so much time looking in the wrong places for the conversation or the person, which is why I like having, when people are going to be doing business with me, I like having it in an email, because then at least I know that I know how to get to that. So it's handy. But WASCI, the famous Pier-Gustafson test. Well, the famous Pier-Gustafson test was originally designed thinking that it would be a way for me to prove to everyone that modern fountain pens don't work. But I think they are made better now than they were 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So I think they're listening to their customers when they said, why is this pen skipping? So now I think they've realized that they have to make the ink flow better. So I told Waskey the other day that he could retire that test because all of his pens seem to pass. So I don't think it's needed. Interslice. I'm starting to crash and burn people. Well, I understand it's only a two-way street, but it allows me to easily attach pictures and convey in the same place something that's more than a certain number of characters. And it's something I can easily find when I have to refer to it again. So that's why I like them. I do like this. I do like, you know, if I came back tomorrow to do another live chat thing with you guys, I'm sure that many of you would come back, not just to see me, but you but you know each other. You get to know each other. So Bartholomew and Jack are going to talk, and so I do like, again, seeing how this works. So I know now how it works. It'll be fun maybe to do a Zoom thing where we've got all of the little Brady Bunch faces in a little grid. And Marilyn, you can be in the middle. You can be the center square. You can be the Paul Lind. How about that? The middle square. Well, I've used Zoom with other people, and I find if the group is too big, I get car sick. But and often the microphone, the conch, the speaker might be the one that talks the loudest and the longest about something that is the least important. So I think if there was, 6 or so people, I think that would work better, 6 or 9 maybe. But I also like the idea of recording what we do. And Russell and I are trying to figure out a way to use Stream something or other, StreamYard, something yard, to do a 3-way drawing thing with another artist whose work we like. So Streamlabs, no, I don't think that was it. StreamYard, it was a yard, something yard. And it's in my history here because I used this StreamYard. But I wanted to make sure that I could be able to record these things if I wanted to, with all of the warts and burps and mistakes that we might make. And for me to do this and record it, I'm not invading your privacy, but if your face is next to me and we're recording it and putting it up, I don't want to have to deal with disclaimers and all of that kind of nonsense. But anyway, we'll figure this out. But I should actually get back to trying to figure out how to put my life in order, because right now it's particularly chaotic. So, but thank you, Marilyn, for helping me out as much as you had. I hope tomorrow or whenever I do this again, I will remember what I did. And but I'm glad it did work. I just have to make sure that I don't end up misplacing. It's another place where pens usually don't go. And if I start putting pens here, I can very easily forget that that's where they are. Let's see if I can put this back. Yeah. We will talk soon, Marilyn, and bye everyone else. And I'll see if I can end stream. Bye. End.